Hi, MCA family. After conducting our survey a few months back, the Reach Out team has been working on how we can better equip you guys to share the gospel with those in your families, your neighborhoods, your schools, and your workplaces.
Together as a Reach Out team, we went through a book in 2021 entitled Tactics. It's an awesome book. See if you can get your hands on it. We learned so much from this book, and it taught us how to share and defend the gospel in a strategic and approachable manner.
What we want to do is take the knowledge that we have from this book, the various concepts and strategies that we learned, and take these and put them into Reach Out kits to release to our church family so that we can all feel comfortable in sharing the gospel. This first Reach Out kit centers around two ideas that we take away from this book. One is what the author calls getting in the driver's seat. The second is how we can walk away from a conversation by simply putting a stone in someone's shoe.
Church, we totally understand that having gospel conversations and spiritual conversations can be very difficult at times. The goal of this Reach Out kit is to enable you with confidence to have these conversations. In addition, you will see two items in this kit. The first one is a flow chart to equip you with approaches depending on how the conversation goes. And the second one is cue cards, again with various scenarios that are able to equip you for all age groups. The objective of this tactic is to walk away from a conversation with someone and give them something to think about, putting a stone in someone's shoe. This can be done by gathering information on a person's beliefs or stances. So what do we mean by gathering information? Gathering information is asking intentional questions to understand a person's beliefs or stances on a specific topic. It's asking the right questions, it's actively listening, it's genuinely being interested in the conversation. Our goal is to not agree or disagree with their topic or even distort it, but to simply understand.
This is crucial because we don't want to misrepresent what someone believes. We don't want to have them misrepresent themselves in what they believe. We want to gather a genuine understanding of what someone believes. When we do this, we should also be careful to not be aggressive in the way in which we're having the conversation. We have to come off as kind and sincere as we're gathering information from someone. The goal in this method is to be asking questions rather than answering them. This gives us an opportunity to not have to defend what we believe, but rather to gain an understanding on what the other person believes. When we ask these questions, we have to do so sincerely because it results in a natural and friendly conversation as opposed to an interrogation. Essentially, we want to be remembered as people who are willing to hear out other people's beliefs rather than being people who are constantly asserting their own beliefs. Our goal is ultimately to go on the offensive by asking these questions, but to do so in an unoffensive manner.
When we gather information, it can cause uncertainty in the individual that we're speaking to and actually uncover the fact that they don't have all the answers to what they actually believe. It can also pose the possibility for the individual to ask themselves, do I actually believe this, or was I simply told to believe this? When our questions lead to a point of doubt in the other person, it gives us an opportunity to insert our position with Jesus, simply putting a stone in the other person's shoe. It doesn't have to be a full-on gospel presentation, but leaving them with just a thought. How is that done? This is what it looks like.
Jesus puts a stone in the shoe of the Pharisees in John chapter 8 when he encounters a woman who is guilty of adultery, and the Pharisees are calling for her to be stoned to death because that's what the law states. Jesus responds to this by asking them, "He who is without sin should cast the first stone." This phrase that Jesus says causes the Pharisees to examine themselves and understand that they too are sinners, therefore they cannot cast the first stone. What Jesus says here leaves the Pharisees walking away doubting what they knew about the law. This was the stone that Jesus put in their shoe.
So, you're faced with a tough or sensitive conversation. Someone says something like, "There's no proof there's a God," or "Who's to say that Christianity is better than any other religion?" Don't be afraid. Don't let the opportunity go. In conversations, after somebody has said something, we have about 10 seconds to share a response. And what's a great first question to ask? Try, "What do you mean by that?" Or, "How exactly does that work?" When you ask these questions, it's a natural opening to more conversation.
You might be tempted to state your own opinion or your own beliefs, but just listen. Let them clarify, defend, explain, or even attack based on what they believe. We shouldn't get defensive at all in these conversations. Ideally, we want to draw out as much information as we can from the other person. Try to understand the way that they think, understand the way that they believe things, understand the way that they explain their beliefs. Let them speak to you about their convictions first before we go on the offense and talk about what we believe.
And if you get a sense at any time in the conversation of something more spiritually significant, gently go in that direction, but always using questions. So, you're wondering, well, what are these questions? Here are a few examples of what putting a stone in someone's shoe looks like. Do you believe in evolution?
What do you mean by evolution? There's more than one kind. Which one did you have in mind?
What about all the evil in the world?
Well, what do you mean by evil? What makes bad things bad?
Do you take the Bible literally?
I mean, that depends on what you mean by literally. What specifically were you thinking of?
Science has proven there is no God.
Wow, really? Precisely how did science do that?
Abortion is okay because the fetus is a human, but not a person.
Really? What's the difference between the two? So MCA family, we hope and pray that this first Reach Out Kit encourages you and equips you to use questions to put a stone in someone's shoe in conversations that you have. Our prayer is that this would be a great segue into having gospel conversations with your families, your friends, your coworkers, your classmates, and your neighbors. We so look forward to hearing back from you on how this method worked for you, and more than that, we look forward to hearing about the souls that were won for the kingdom of God. God bless you, church.